Welcome to The Point of View. This is your favorite current affairs show here on Channel 1 Television. Here on The Point of View, we get the right guests, asking relevant questions on issues that matter to you. And we're very happy to say tonight we have a guest a lot of our viewers have been waiting to see, Professor Ransford Gyampo, who is the Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Shippers Authority. We've known him as a political science professor. We've also known him as a civil society advocate, but now he's in a very important position. He's going to talk to us about that transition and a very important thing that has happened just this week following an intervention from the authority. All this and more when we come back. Stay with us.
My name is Anis Hafor. I'm currently serving as the chairman of the Barstow Ghana. What I've noticed with Barstow Ghana is that we are introducing the American curriculum for the first time into the country. And the interest that I have in it is that we want to do something that's a little different.
At the Barstow schools, we believe that true education extends beyond traditional learning. It is about preparing our students to thrive in a globally interconnected world. Our Ghana campus embodies this philosophy by offering a rigorous curriculum aligned with our Kansas City home campus.
Our mission is to promote sound scholarship and to give symmetrical development to mind, body, and character.
Remember who we are seeing now. At risk of prostate enlargement. We a member or her 20 ebitiminya prostate cancer, 5 bitimi afamu nadia ubefamu.
Actually, this is not my fault.
And to wada, entina midi meniche Executive Prostate Center.
Executive Prostate Center is a unique medical center where we harmonize in-depth traditional medicine with cutting-edge science and technology to cure, to treat, and to prevent diseases like prostate enlargement, prostate cancer.
Executive Prostate Center. Madame facilities no any professional medical care.
Sisi a bibia clear system no. Ye nro ne so de natural into be koso afama ye.
Executive Prostate Center. My cured.
Welcome back. So tonight my guest is Professor Ransford Gyampo. It's good to have you. Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Congrats on your appointment. We haven't spoken face to face, even though I've interviewed you on phone.
Thank you, Bernard.
Yeah, I think we saw it 30th January. That means that
28th January
28th,
was the dated
letter.
Yeah.
So you're one of the early
appointees.
That suggests to me the president was very clear what he wanted you to do even before he won, because for you to have been named before the end of January, before even some other positions were named, it's very clear that he knew what he wanted from you. Correct?
Well, maybe. I'm not in the president's mind, but if you say so, I'm sure so.
I'm just deducing. But for those who don't know your research, they will be surprised that you said yes to shipping authority. So talk to us a bit about why it shouldn't be surprising that you are heading Shippers Authority.
I think it's a position of leadership. I've taught governance and leadership for many years. And so you have the expertise, people with the expertise there, and you are supposed to just listen to them, go with your own vision, and make sure they buy into it. Your vision aligns with the broader vision of the organization, get them to appreciate it, mobilize them, rally them behind you. To see, a leader is somebody who is able to inspire confidence in the people and influence them such that they are able to give you enthusiastic cooperation to help you succeed in whatever you set out to do. So it's just a position of leadership that I believe that...
But don't you have to be interested in it? So let me give an example. If, for example, you were made head of local government service, because I know what you've done with IEA and the way you appreciate local governance, it can be a very direct linked to something you are passionate about. I've never seen shipping as something you've even spoken about before.
Unknown to you, I had done some extensive, you can Google and pull my research CV, and it tells you that I won some research award, consultancy award with some colleagues at the University of Copenhagen in Denmark on maritime security in the Gulf of Guinea. The program lasted for about 3 to 5 years, and we did extensive work researching into that area, shipping and maritime issues, and I churned out quite a number of publications also in that area. But I never knew that I was going to be given an opportunity. But I'm a man of faith, so maybe you know, when that opportunity was given to me, I questioned myself. I'm talking when I was asked to join the team to undertake the research in the area of maritime security in the Gulf of Guinea. I questioned myself that, but this is not my area. But as a researcher, I took it upon myself as a challenge, and within 1-2 years, I felt I had been adequately socialized into the issues in the area, to the point that I was churning out research publications also in that area. And so maybe God knew that I would be told to come head the Shippers Authority, and that's how come that opportunity came. It was a challenging opportunity, but if you're a researcher, you're just going to search for information and reporting and questioning things and trying to find answers to them. And it didn't come, even though it was challenging, I found myself doing it and doing it well. To the extent that you could publish journal article in high impact factor journals, globally acclaimed and reputable journals, then it meant that I was properly socialized. So maybe that was the way you have been prepared divinely for this job? Maybe divinely. But I'm not sure that many people, I'm not sure that even President Mahama was aware of that research. Maybe he had seen my CV, but I'm not too sure. And so because you can never know these people. well, I mean, they have their own way of interrogating your background before. So what I was interested in is, you've said elsewhere that this is at least the 4th time that either President Mahama or the NDC government or party has tried to get you to accept a position. So why did you say yes this time? Because I think you said elsewhere that on 3 occasions you had said you were either not ready or whatever. Yeah, but you cannot be unready in perpetuity. Okay. So you are told that this is a time for you to join to serve. It is enough. You've done enough standing outside and subjecting regimes to strict proof, criticizing them, making proposals as to how they have to do things. And it makes sense to me that if somebody stands outside and proffers suggestions and is always scrutinizing and offering constructive criticisms, it presupposes that he should have an idea of how to do things. And so if you carry yourself as somebody who has an idea of how to do things, it is reasonable for every sensible leader to say that, then come in to help. And when you are approached on that tangent that you feel that you can help, and so come and help, and it's about nation building and national development, I think it is nation wrecking and sabotaging for you not to respond to that call. So even though previously we felt we were not ready, like I said, you cannot say you are not ready in perpetuity. At one point in time, you have to serve. And I'm happy and glad that I yielded to the call to serve, and I like so far what I've been helping. We'll come to that. I'm still trying to sort of segue into that. I just want to get your mind on a few things before I get into that. So, are you ideologically, how shall I say, aligned with the NDC? Again, because you're a political science professor, whose opinions we seek sometimes to run commentary on general issues. So the question is 2 in 1. Are you ideologically aligned to the NDC, and have you always been? There's no ideological purity anywhere in the world now. With the end of the Cold War and the collapse of the Soviet Union and all that, there isn't anything like ideological purity. It was capitalism, socialism, war that was fought, but America becoming unipolar, the unipolar system created with America at the top of the hegemony. Ideological purity does not exist anywhere under the sun. So my point is that NDC practices social democracy, MPP is liberal democracy, and there's been ideological crisscrossing. Okay, the ideology that I subscribe to is the welfare and well-being of Ghanaians. What would be in the interest of Ghanaians? Sometimes if it would sync with socialism or social democracy, I'll go for it. If it will sync in any other ideology, I'll go for it. So there isn't, and there is no political party in Ghana now that is ideologically pure.
Okay. So moving away from ideology to just party support, have you always been an NDC supporter?
No, I've never been a supporter of any political any one political party, but I've voted since 1992. Okay, I've voted for MPP, I've voted for NDC. In fact, so these are the two main parties I've voted for.
You didn't try CPP? PNC, NIP, bro. You didn't, it's either MPP or NDC. You didn't try any of the Nkrumah's people.
Maybe I shouldn't have even answered this question.
No, you've asked many questions, you have to answer some.
No, so I voted for either. I can tell you how my voting pattern has been like. I used to love Jerry Rawlings. I voted for him throughout. Okay. But I was part of the student movement during the Mobrowa struggle. We kicked against Jerry. It was an offense to be seen as a supporter of NDC.
In those days.
In fact, if you're going to contest election and somebody wrote VOSA, Voter Region Student Association, on your poster, it was enough for you to lose an election, because it was felt that all Volsarians were supporters of Rawlings and all that. So we were the ones who kicked against Rawlings. After supporting him for his 2 terms, we said it was okay, he should leave. And then we supported, we voted for J. Kufuor for 2 terms. And then afterwards, we felt that he should also go. I supported President Mills. We spoke for him, we voted for him, and then he did 1 term, he exited. The second term that President Mahama had to continue, we supported President Mahama. But in the lead up to 2016 elections, we felt we were the ones who chased him out I was an avowed critic of President Mahama, and I think that you are a fair-minded Ghanaian, and a fair-minded stakeholder in Ghana's media landscape. So if I tell you that I was among the loudest critics of President Mahama in the lead up to 2016 elections, you know, and there are documentary proofs. The internet doesn't forget. We chased him out of office in the hope that President Akufo-Addo was going to be the Messiah. And some of us, during the Mobrowa struggle and the days that we were students and were going on demonstration, he showed himself as somebody who was a human rights protector, and he spoke for us when we were being beaten from Castle to Kantamanto during the Mobrowa struggle. They were brutalizing us. He was there for us. We felt that, look, this man was going to be the best president that we would ever have in Ghana. We gave him the mandate, and in 2017, when he came to power, he started well, but before 2020, he had lost it. But he won the 2020 elections, whose results I've always described as a victory with a taste of defeat for the NDC and a defeat with a taste of victory for the MPP. Technically, I think that to the extent that the parliament then became hanged, it suggested to me that MPP lost the 2020 elections. But after his first term, I was disappointed, and so I didn't vote for him again. And in the lead up to 2024 elections, I thought he had done worse than all the governments in the Fourth Republic, and that's my view. I'm entitled to my view as a scholar and as an analyst and as a Ghanaian. I thought he had done worse compared to all the regimes. And so, you know, I had placed him on a certain higher pedestal. You know, you and I, if we run afoul of the law, for instance, if we violate traffic rules and we are taken to court, a judge who sees you and I would punish us harder because he expects us to know better, compared to somebody who, excuse my language, has not been to school before and has committed traffic offense. So I placed him at a certain higher pedestal. And when I realized that he was not performing to meet the expectation, I was annoyed. And that's how come I was always one of his loudest critics.
So would you say his, in your words, bad performance pushed you finally into NDC?
No, it did not push me into any political party. In my critique, I was criticizing what I thought was wrong.
Okay.
And so you
were you expecting a position?
Let me finish.
Or you were not?
No, let me finish this. So when I was criticizing President Mahama in the lead up to 2016 elections, nobody said whether his performance then pushed me into MPP. I was doing my work as a political scientist, using the canons of the political science discipline to subject regimes or the government of the day to strict proof. So that's all I was seeking to do. So it had nothing to do with Party A or Party B. It was just looking at the face of the one who was governing to say this is right, this is wrong. And so that was it.
Last transition question.
And you're asking whether I was expecting any...
No, you've already answered that.
Okay.
From political scientist to political appointee, how do you manage such a transition?
I think I'm still a political scientist. I've said it, and I'm sure you know, you heard the conversation I was having with my teaching assistant prior to coming here. I've never stopped teaching, and I will not stop teaching till I die. So even though I'm an appointee, I still find time to go and teach, and I teach for free.
This is political science?
Yes, I teach for free. I teach all my courses, so I'll either go to the lecture hall very early. This morning I taught before going to work.
Wow.
And this evening, after this program, I'll go to a lecture hall.
So teaching is your passion?
I never dreamt of becoming a teacher, but once I got in there, I like the kinds of things. I like the fact that I've read a lot of books, I've done a lot of research, and I'm sharing the whatever I've studied in my head with the students with the view to producing nation builders.
But I feel like now that you are working in government, it gives you a different experience, which then when you bring to the teaching, maybe be richer, correct?
It is a practical experience, and my students will tell you, if you would, after this program, if you would go to my class with me, my class is always, teaching is always littered with so many practical examples of what I've gone to see. And
so with the 6 months you have been in office, would you say any of your political theories that you believe, you started questioning them? Because now this is where the rubber meets the road, right? You are leading an institution that's very significant with a large number of stakeholders. Has your 6 months given you anything to say, maybe this theory, I'll rewrite the theory?
No, I still, theories are theories, practice are practice. There are things that I knew or I know exist in theory, and then when you go to the practical field, they may not work. But I've always insisted that, you see, without theory, we cannot shape practice. You see, theory is there to make practice good. Okay, theory is there and it is expected to shape the conduct of practice. And so you cannot, if you cannot go to the field and say that what I studied in school is theory, and as for the practice, because it has, as for the practice, it must have nothing to do with theory. You see, theory is what is expected to be, what ought to be. And so when you go to the field, what ought to be that you have studied is expected to tamper what is practice. And so oftentimes, what is there in reality may not be good. And if you study theory, you are supposed to bring it to bear with the view to shaping what is there that may be bad. So for instance, when I went to my organization, I saw so many things that I felt that, well, people had institutionalized, but I felt like, no, why don't we question it? Why don't we challenge it? Example is my own decision that I'll remain the only CEO who would fly economy ticket anytime I travel.
To anywhere?
Anywhere. And people.
So if you are going from here to be in Japan,
I've had so many. I've traveled to the United States. It's very long, and I didn't do here to somewhere, and I flew straight, and I was in economy. And the point is this:
wow.
it is part of my conditions of service to fly business class. But around the time I got there were some financial challenges, and I said that, look, even though it is expected that I fly business class, I think that the practical reality is that they don't have enough resources. So I wouldn't be the CEO who would milk the organization dry, even if the organization is not making profit. There are some people who wouldn't care about the financial health of the organization. They would collect everything that is due them. But I feel that you should be able to be sensitive to the times.
So is this just for you, or because you have directors who may want to take advantage of the business class, or you are cutting it for everybody? Unfortunately,
this is what happened. I had a manager who was traveling, and they brought everything to me. I had to look at it, and it was a business class. And I said, I simply minuted on it that I, the CEO, would always fly economy. And that's all I said. And so it meant that wow. So all must fall in line. I've had some of them appealing to me, but I've already said it, and I've insisted that unless we are able to get to a certain level of financial sufficiency, that policy.
So you are bringing austerity to the shipping authority organization, shippers authority organization.
That is what I'm seeking to do. So because of that, I don't drive government vehicle to any function apart from sending it to government work. If I'm going to church, if I'm going to wedding, if I'm going to funeral, if I'm going anywhere, I had my own car before government appointed me. And so I buy my fuel. I came here with my driver. Anytime I'm driving my own car, I give money. That buy fuel. And
But you live in government house?
I still live on campus.
You don't live in government apartment?
No.
Government accommodation?
No.
You are entitled to it, aren't you?
I'm entitled to it, but to the extent that I remain a teacher at the University of Ghana, now I am paying for my accommodation on campus. Commercial rate.
Okay.
Yes, once you go on secondment, government is supposed to give you a bungalow. But I'm told that something was being arranged for him, but I prefer to live on campus. I will not.
You like the ambience?
Yes. So I pay commercial.
So you're on secondment, not on sabbatical?
No, I'm on secondment. So I am a staff of the university on loan to government.
Amazing.
And so I live on campus, and I pay commercial rate for my accommodation.
We're talking to Professor Ransford Gyampo, and we haven't even asked him about why he's here in terms of why I invited him, but I just wanted to lay this foundation, which is really good. You've inherited an organization that has been thrown into a very turbulent environment, because in our news, we've had a lot of controversy between different stakeholders in the institution you run. So we have freight forwarders complaining about shipping lines. They talk about unfair competition. They talk about distorted pricing. They talk about sometimes non-functioning systems within the ports. But we're going to take it one by one. When you took over, you visited all the stakeholders. So I know you know the issues. What's your understanding of the quarrel between the freight forwarders on one hand and the shipping lines at the port on the other? What's your understanding of that quarrel?
I think essentially it's about somebody wanting to make profit, and then others also feeling you are unnecessarily milking us dry.
Okay.
And Shippers Authority comes in to regulate the relationship such that shipping lines it is unethical for somebody to come from his hometown to come and do business, and you say he shouldn't make profit. So shipping lines would do their business to make profit, but in so doing, it will not be so much at the expense of the other stakeholders. And so if you look at our act, previously it said that we should regulate the activities and so we should negotiate. For instance, if it comes to the charges that they levy, we are just supposed to negotiate those charges. And so if they bring some charges that we feel as regulators, we feel that they are too much, we'll just have to sit with them and negotiate. And in negotiating, they can say yes, they can say no. But our new act is that no, don't negotiate. You approve or disapprove. So every year we are required to just write to them and ask them to submit their charges to us. Now, after submitting their charges to us, we compare the charges to what pertains elsewhere, and then we look at the justifications. We ask them for justification. So somewhere last week, I wrote, we had received the charges of virtually all the shipping lines, and then we had written back to them asking for justification of some of the charges. And so if we don't want to be an agency of the state that will just sit down and say we have approved or we have not approved. So first of all, we've written to them asking for them to justify
the charges.
So if the justification are not, that they provide aren't enough, then we'll be able to tell them that we cannot approve of this, so we disapprove. And we've been doing this, apart from the shipping, any stakeholder that has a role in port charges. Their charges would have to come to us. Just last week, we had a letter that Gapuha was going to bring about some charge. They were asking shippers to pay some charge that we were not aware. So once we got to know, we just quickly, the Gapua Chief Director General has been an excellent Director General. His attitude to work and the way and manner he relates with stakeholders, very cordial and conciliatory. And so I've adopted same attitude towards him. So once I saw it, I called him on phone. I said, my big brother, we'll have to talk. We went to meet with him, and I told him that, look, these charges, this charge that you are bringing, you should first of all bounce it, submit it to the Ghana Shippers Authority, and we must look into it to approve or not to approve, even though you are an authority on your own. But so long as what we are going to demand is a port charge, it has to come to us. We negotiated, we spoke about it, and then he understood. This morning he called me, telling me that it's written, he's bringing the charges to us, and we said, so long, as soon as we receive it, we'll look into it, and then see whether it must be approved or not. Around that same time, we had heard that Minerals Commission actually had gone through the fees and charges arrangement to have an agreement that every excavator that is exiting the port must be levied $250. And we said that, yes, we are so much in support of the fight against Galamsey. And so we would support every move that would minimize anything that accentuates, Galamsey. But to the extent that the $250 is also a port charge, it must come through us. And so we called Minerals Commission, the authorities, into a meeting, and we discussed it extensively. We were not conclusive. We've scheduled another meeting, for Monday, hoping to get them to understand that you cannot go on with those charges unless we approve of them. And so basically, this is what we have been doing. Beyond that.
So let me get it straight. There are freight forwarders and people who facilitate the work of shippers. Then there are shipping lines, who are the companies that bring in the freight. Then there's the port authority. And you're saying for all three, any charge they impose.
Anyone who is imposing a charge at the port.
A charge?
Yes, that charge must be approved by the Ghana Shippers Authority.
That's serious. So the GPHA, which is an authority, did not disagree with you?
We made sense to them. We explained our law, and like I said, the man at the helm of affairs is a gentleman. He's a soldier man, but he's a gentleman. And he's always told me that, Prof, don't write. Come and let's talk.
Your latest English is a lot. So just come and let's talk.
Don't write, come and let's talk. And to the extent that we are all working for the same government, and we are all working to better the lot of Ghanaians, we found it appropriate to rather use dialogue and behind-the-scenes conversation to resolve our issues.
This is the point of view. We're speaking to Professor Ransford Gyampo, who is the Chief Executive of the Ghana Shippers Authority. When we come back, the Bank of Ghana issued a directive to shipping lines, which he was involved in. We'll deal with that. His board was also constituted today, means they are ready for action. We'll discuss all of that and other issues. Stay with us.
Remember who we are singing now. At risk of prostate enlargement. We remember or her 20 ebitiminya prostate cancer. 5 bitimi afamu nadia ubefamu.
Actually, this is not my fault.
And to wada, entina midi meniche Executive Prostate Center.
Executive Prostate Center is a unique medical center where we harmonize in-depth traditional medicine with cutting-edge science and technology to cure, to treat, and to prevent diseases like prostate enlargement, prostate cancer.
Executive Prostate Center. Madame home. Facilities no any professional medical care.
Sisi a bibia clear system ni. Ye nro ne so de natural. Into we koso afama ye.
Executive Prostate Center. My cured.
Every day is packed with its own surprises. You never know which thrill is around the corner.
Feel good. Feel good.
Or how it will play out. There's a sense of excitement.
Did our plane just stop? Another cash out.
That adds a little magic to my everyday.
Feels like a party tonight.
Welcome back. So tonight my guest is Professor Ransford Gyampo, CEO of the Ghana Shippers Authority. Prof, I think a month ago on the City Breakfast Show, when I was discussing the issue of charges by shipping lines, you called into the show to say that you were going to intervene in the FX dispute. Again, what was your understanding of that dispute, and how did that influence what the BOG said, I think, yesterday?
Well, okay, so I think my assistant, I don't know what you have done to him, but he's always listening to City FM in the morning.
Unlike you.
To the point that I've told him that, I mean, why has Bernard bribed you or something? He's sitting here, he's always listening to City. And I said,
he clearly has seen something good.
And so and when he's listening,
he forces you to listen.
He forces me to listen.
Give him a raise. It's very important.
So I think we were in the car going to work, and then I heard some people talking, and then I think they were mentioning my name, Ghana Shippers Authority, and my name, that we had to act and all that. So quickly I sent you a text, but I think you couldn't read but why are they talking about us and you're not giving me the opportunity to speak? And then later on when you read it, you said the following day you're going to give me an opportunity. So it was a report that, a complaint that was articulated on your program. In fact, it had not been given to us officially.
Okay.
But it was articulated on your program that even though the government is doing a lot of work to stabilize our currency, such that that would also ultimately lead to the cost, bringing down the cost of doing business, some of the shipping lines are making nonsense of the effort of the government. And so even though you had the CD now to dollar being $1 to 10 cedis, now at that time
it was coming down. Actually, it probably around 10.
Okay,
upwards of 10.
Yeah. But around that time, people were charging 16 to 17 cedis, and so these shippers were complaining. And so when I heard about that complaint, I was a bit also annoyed that, I mean, I've had to say, I believe in the sovereignty of Ghana, and I believe, you see, we have all studied, you studied abroad, and we all went to study abroad, and we've lived abroad before. When we went there, we respected their rules, we respected their laws. But it appears that in our part of the world, we are so hospitable and so friendly to the point that we allow foreigners to come and destroy everything that we have created because they are foreigners. And you see Ghanaians fighting to protect foreigners. It doesn't happen anywhere. And so I've always taken the view that we are in a liberalized economy. Foreigners can come in to do business, but in doing business, they must do so with respect to, they must do so at the same time respecting our laws. So why is it that a government has done all it can to stabilize its currency and then reduce the CD dollar rate, and then you are charging arbitrarily in a manner that makes nonsense of the effort of the government? I was annoyed.
So they were applying a higher rate than the market rate.
And then they were saying that, some of them initially were saying that, well, they are not going by the Bank of Ghana rate, they are going by their own commercial banks rate. So upon hearing these things, like I said, I commissioned an investigation into it with the view to ascertaining the truth or otherwise of what we were being told. And when we went into it, we realized that it is true that they were using their own commercial banks rate, but it was also true that if the commercial bank was giving, quoting a dollar of, if you like, 11, they were charging 16 or 17. But the Bank of Ghana rule says if you pick it from your own commercial bank and it's 11, you should charge 11. So with this investigation, we did a report. Having done report, I wrote a petition to the Governor of Bank of Ghana, and he's also a very excellent gentleman. If I see people who have a lot of responsibilities, responding to messages and picking their calls and responding to complaints like that, for me, I get excited. It gives me a lot of hope that Ghana can go places. So first of all, the letter that we wrote, the petition I sent to him on WhatsApp, he acknowledged receipt even long before we sent the hard copy.
Wow.
And then he said that, look, I'm going to work on it. Within a few days, he got back to us and asked that he was going to call a meeting of all stakeholders, including the shipping lines who were charging those arbitrary rates. We went to meet with them, and then the Shippers Authority was made to present its case and the research that we had done and the report of the research. We did that, and that generated a discussion among all stakeholders. And after that, we agreed that given what had happened, BOG had to issue policy directives to explain or to direct what must be done and what must not be done. After that decision was taken, I had to do a lot of follow-ups with BOG. And as for me, by the grace of God, if I set out to do something, I want to carry it to its logical conclusion. And so through constant follow-ups, yesterday afternoon, we had a BOG issuing the policy directives, and I'm told a lot of the shippers are excited and happy about that.
So for the uninitiated, you always have to distinguish between a shipper and a shipping line. So a shipper is who?
Is a trader.
The one whose goods are being brought.
The shipper is the one whose goods are being brought, and those who are assisting the shippers to bring the goods, to send the goods away or to bring the goods down. And the shipping lines are those who own the ships.
So the pricing problem was from the shipping lines to the shippers.
Yes.
And the shippers complained to you.
The shippers complained.
So you regulate both the shippers and the shipping lines.
We are supposed to we are the arbiters, regulating the interest of the shipping lines and also the shippers. You know, sometimes some shippers also will do what is wrong. They are not supposed to send contraband goods and it will create problems. So we try to also ensure that if things are done by the shippers and they are also not in the interest of the shipping lines, we also would have to deal with the shippers.
So in this case, would a shipper include somebody who sends a parcel through an airline?
It's a shipper. No, so we use shipping generically to simply means the movement of goods from one place to the other.
So
land, sea, and air.
All are.
We are regulating all of them. So if you want to talk about people who are transporting goods from Ghana to Burkina Faso, we are interested in protecting them from armed robbers attack. We are interested in stopping the sometimes unnecessary road checks. Recently, about 2 months ago, my team and we went to visit the IGP, and we went with a complaint that our cargo drivers are complaining that there are too many checkpoints, and then sometimes they are unnecessary, and you know, we don't have evidence, but we are told that every checkpoint that they stand, then some people may be extorting a few guru from them. We complained to the IGP. He told us that he was going to look into it, and then he also explained that the checkpoints, even though may be many, may also be good for the safety and security of
But Prof, so are you saying that if an air freight company sets its price for transporting goods from Germany via air to Accra, they must send the prices to you first?
Just about 3 months ago, they all sent their prices. And they all send their prices, their charges to us. And we did not, they sent prices that were an increment of the previous prices, charges that they were charging. And I wrote to them that under the current arrangement that and the current dispensation that we are in, and within which we are trying to reduce the cost of doing business, I'm unable to approve the increment. And they understood. I think one of them didn't understand. I went there with my team to go hold meetings with them to explain, and they understood. So they are all...
Has this always been the Ghana Shippers Authority's mandate, or is it the new law, the Act 1122?
The previous law was saying you should go negotiate. Okay, and as I indicated earlier, in negotiation you can gain acceptance, but they can also say that they will not listen. But the new act that was passed by the close of 2024 is the one that is now mandating us to say that right to us and let us approve.
Let me read what I see here. Functions of the authority. To achieve the object under Section 2, and the object is to regulate the activities of shippers and shipping service providers with respect to service standards, commercial terms and conditions of shipment, the pricing of shipping services, carrier charges, and the resolution of shipping of complaints. And then the functions said to achieve the above, the authority shall provide facilities for mutual consultation between shippers, ship owners, carriers, other providers of shipping services, and the agents of carriers. Wow. And then you will regulate commercial shipping activities for the benefits of shippers. So the only difference here is that you don't regulate aircraft, but you regulate commercial shipping lines. But then the aircraft who bring freight, their pricing, their standards is all under you.
Yeah, they cannot just charge anything without...
So how big are you guys? How many staff do you have then?
We are many. We have branches virtually all over the country.
Wow.
And don't forget that Ghana Shippers Authority is 51 years old. And so it's an organization,
it's a massive organization
that has been there. It's almost as old as Ghana. So for 51 years they've existed. It's just that they were doing their work on the quiet. It's only Ransford Gyampo who is loud, and that's how come then now we are so much out there. But they've been in existence for the past 51 years. People have served there. The people I'm working with that I want to meet, some have been there, my managers, some have served for 35 years, some are there 30 years. So
let me understand, at the airport, when you go to a place like Swissport.
In fact, Swissport was one of those people who wrote to us to ask for upward adjustment in their charges, and we said no.
You're serious?
Yeah.
So even the key terminals at our airports, the subports there,
we have branches. We have branches at all the terminals of our airports. So we have staff working there, and
so Aviance Ghana.
Yes, we went there. We work with them.
Swissport, Aviance,
all of them.
Amazing.
Yes.
And then of course, so what's the relationship with Ghana Airports Company and you guys?
Oh, Ghana Airport Company, I think they are providing the airport facility and managing it. And those who are operating the airlines and all that are operating. So Ghana Airport Company behaves like Gapoha, at the
in the same. So the relationship with Gapoha is so mutual respect.
Mutual,
but
yeah.
If there are issues, you can still intervene.
We sit and talk about it. And when I became CEO, I paid courtesy call on all of them.
Okay, let me deal with freight forwarders now. Come back to shipping. I've interviewed freight forwarders a lot, and for them, apart from the issues they complain with and the unfair pricing, they've been complaining a lot about outages of the ECUM system.
ECUMs, yeah.
Have they told you this, and what have you done about it?
They've told us, and we've been talking to those who are in charge. And Bernard, you go there and they tell you that sometimes it's power outage, and sometimes it's machine breakdown. We've written a lot of letters to also complain on behalf of these freight forwarders about the frequent machine breakdowns, and sometimes you are assured that new machines are being installed. And sometimes they tell you that, well, the power system just didn't work. And there's been times that these machine breakdowns and frequent power outages have led to the charge of demurrage. And anytime this was brought to attention, we wrote to explain that this blame must not be borne or must not be put at the doorstep of the shipper. So there's been several letters that we've written to disallow or to protest the charging of demurrage on shippers when especially they did not cause the problem or the delay.
Who charges the demurrage? The port
shipping lines,
or the shipping line?
Shipping lines.
Because
if you delay,
in the oil industry as well, there was a big discussion by the AOMCs that the demurrage for bringing in their finished product was leading to price escalations within their sector.
Yes, demurrage will definitely impoverish the shipper, and then if he is able to pay, then he must pass it on to the ordinary Ghanaian. But you see, what people must know is that demurrage as a fee, it doesn't come to Ghana. It goes to the shipping line and they repatriate it to their country. And so we must all do all we can to ensure that we don't incur them. But sometimes you should also agree that sometimes the fault is not always about machine, it's not always due to machine breakdown. And sometimes the delay is also as a result of the shipper. You know that your goods are coming and you know they will come on Monday. You know the amount of monies you have to pay and all you have to do. Some people will delay up to last minute. You delay up to Thursday, they start the process, you go to Friday, Saturday, Sunday, nobody is working, then Monday comes, and all these things feed into delay. So sometimes the shippers also cause some of these delays, but largely you can say that largely it is not the fault of the shipper. It's as a result of system breakdown and some of the things that are completely out of the control of the shipper.
We'll take a short break. When we come back, we wrap up a few other issues around lack of local shipping lines and the issue of AFTA and the whole conversation about ships that move across our coast belonging not to Africans. We'll deal with that when we come back. Stay with us.
Every journey begins with a single step. Not always easy, not always certain, but always yours. In every heartbeat there's a story of struggle, of courage, of purpose. And on this road, every story finds its voice.
I run because I believe I'm born to win.
I run because it keeps me fit and gorgeous.
It's not just about the finish line. It's about what drives you to start and energizes you to keep going against all odds. The battles no one sees and the pain no one feels. The triumphs only you understand. And when the road gets hard, always remember, if it is to be, it is up to me. It's your moment, your legacy, and your glory. Register now for the ABSA Black Star Marathon, because your story matters.
Every day is packed with its own surprises. You never know which thrill is around the corner.
Feel good. Feel good.
Or how it will play out. There's a sense of excitement.
Did our plane just stop? Another cash out.
That adds a little magic to my everyday.
Feels like a party tonight.
We're still Professor Ransford Gyampo, CEO of the Ghana Shippers Authority. Is that the right? Shippers Authority, right?
Yes.
It's always confusing. Right. You've been there for 6 months, lots of things on your plate. Today, your board was constituted. So what do they do for you? They supervise you for good corporate governance?
Yes.
And you're a member of the board?
Yes, I'm a member
Executive,
of the board.
Executive?
Yes.
Member of the board.
Yes.
So who's your board chair?
Mr. Mike Hammer, a former Minister of Transport. He was
Former
deputy,
MP for
Ifutu. I think he's been a Deputy Minister of Transport and Minister of Transport.
So Mike Hammer, a former minister, is your board chair?
Yes, he's a board chair. And a very hearty, fine, decent.
So did you have a board meeting today, or just a swearing in?
We had a little meeting, and then afterwards, me and him, we also met. And we are making plans.
Are the rules on the board statutory, or this is?
Well, the rules of the board are spelled out in our act, and to the extent that our act is a statutory act.
So means Transport Ministry has a person, Trade Ministry has somebody, GPHA has somebody, airport company. So the various agencies have representation on the board.
Be sure you are reading.
Yes, I'm looking at the.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's it's
a representative board that is representative of the various.
And then the president will appoint two women, of which the new MP
is one. And I think there is another woman. Yeah, Miss Obing.
She's the new MP.
Yeah, the one who just won the.
She's one of the president's reps.
Yeah.
So for viewers' sake, let me just go through. So the one rep each from the following, not below the rank of a director: GPHA, Ghana Airports Company, Ghana Maritime Authority, and these are nominated by the minister. Ghana Railway Development Authority, nominated by the minister as well for railway, which should be transport in this case. One rep from Chamber of Commerce and Industry, GUTA, and then AGI, and then two women.
No, so let me clarify. Those institutional reps, they are not nominated by the minister. They are nominated by the institution.
I know. I said the GPHA, and then the Ghana Airports Company and the Maritime are by the minister.
Okay.
But then the institutions
are institutional
yes.
representation. Yeah.
All right. We are told that we spend $2 billion, or I don't want to use the word lose because that's not the right word to use. But Ghana spent $2 billion annually on foreign shipping services. This is the Chamber of Shipping saying this, which suggests that our shipping industry is dominated by foreign companies, correct?
Yeah, but do we have a shipping line ourselves? I think the days of Nkrumah that we had, the Black Star line.
There was a Ghanaian who did one, I think 10 years ago, Mr. Aholu. I don't know if the line is still there.
Well, I don't know either. But
so do you have an idea of how many shipping lines regularly work in Ghana?
I have to check, but essentially they are all foreign.
So there's no Ghanaian fully owned shipping line?
I don't think so.
Is there an West African owned shipping line?
I think so. I think there are other African lines.
There will not be many. The way you are saying you think so, it means there are not many.
No, there are not many. But essentially, when you're talking about, in fact, the reason why shippers authorities were established across the globe was that the developed West had ships, Africa and other developing worlds did not have ships. And so because of that, those who had the ships were always throwing their wits about and milking those who don't have dry in terms of business. And so UN met and passed resolution that all across the globe there should be shipper authority to regulate the interest.
There was too much bullying going on.
Regulate the relationship that is expected to exist between those who own ships and those who don't have. And so essentially that was the fact that others have and others don't have led to the.
Will your mandate as the authority include supporting the setting up or the ownership of local shipping lines? Or that's what the ministry's job?
I don't think so. It will have to be a broader mandate of the ministry and a broader mandate of the government. That is that. But ours is to ensure that once there are shipping lines operating, those who are working with them have their interest.
But how can African free continental trade work if Africans don't own ships? Because if you're going to, for example, I'm sending goods from SA or Nigeria or Point Noah, and I need an European shipping line to do that for me, it means I have to wait for them to come from some. I mean, can AFTA work without that?
We are a developing continent, and with the right leaders, with the right decisions, I think some of these things you are talking about should be surmounted. And if I look at what President Mahama is doing, it gives me hope that if other African countries will do same, we have to start from somewhere.
Would you advise him to set up a state shipping line?
I think there are discussions for a national carrier for us to have a national carrier. It's shameful that you go to just Kenya here, and the whole place is littered with KQ, Kenya Airways.
So it's a national carrier. Talking about national air carrier.
National air.
Not a ship.
No, I'm talking about. I'm coming there.
Okay.
But I'm saying that. So as we are talking now, I think there are discussions that we should have Ghana Airways and national carriers operating our airspace. And so in much the same way, I believe that as we surmount that challenge, we'll have to move towards a situation where Ghana would also have its own ships and all that. It's a capitally intensive idea, but I believe that if we can think about having national airlines, we can also have national.
So finally, while the law is clear on your mandate, what will be success for you? Because I know that you would have set a target for yourself.
You see, I think that our mandate essentially requires that we regulate the shipping industry. And so for me, since the passage of our new act, it's been difficult. You see, some, especially the shipping lines, are not too comfortable with our mandate. Nobody wants to be regulated. Previously, we were just negotiating things with them, but now we have been given more teeth to bite. And what would be a success for me is for us to use the teeth that we've been given to bite and bite harder. And so, by the time I leave Ghana Shippers Authority, it should be seen as a strong and an effective regulator of all shipping activities in a manner that forcefully and fairly protect the interest of all within the shipping enclave as enshrined in the GSA Act 1122/2024.
Wow. So that's coming in from I can call him new CEO of the Ghana Shippers Authority. From the address, you used to use the address A31 Prabu
Viviansa Street. Yes,
Salt Pond.
Yes, I mean, now
that's your hometown?
That's my mother's hometown.
So that's your home address?
Yes, I come from Salt Pond. I come from Latesronipa House.
So Latesronipa House
and Salt Pond Prabu.
So you are strong on both sides?
Yeah, I'm strong on both sides. And now, because of work pressure, I'm not able to go to social media to write a lot. And I didn't know that maybe I had a lot of time on my plate. That was why I was doing more social media. But the work, my day, Bernard, starts at 8 p.m. every day.
Your day starts at 8 p.m.?
8 p.m., yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
Wow.
Because, so from morning till evening, if I'm not going to teach, you'll be doing meetings. The day that they will be on to bring the pile of work, the time they will bring the pile of work is 8 p.m. And you have to get.
I wish you Godspeed.
It is possible.
Thank you.
Thank
you for talking to us. Professor Ransford Gyampo is the CEO of the Ghana Shippers Authority, speaking to us on Channel 1. Point of view for the first time since he took over the job. We've interviewed him on radio already. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.